Hello, everybody, and welcome back to On the Couch, Coach with Adna. Not Coach, Couch with Adna. I would like to introduce you to Sonja Simak, and she's from Healing Point. And if you see this lady's CV and what she's accomplished, it is absolutely wonderful. Sonja, welcome, and thank you so much for being willing to talk to us.
Thank you.
No, Sonja, I know that you're a coach, but you're not just any coach. You are very specialized. Don't you want to tell me a little bit more about your practice and what you do?
Okay, I came into the coaching quite late. I started with studying traumatology. That's where my actual journey started. And I didn't realize where it was going to take me when I started it. And then from there, I studied family and systemic constellations. And then only did I go into the coaching side of it. And the reason I went into the coaching side of it is because the medical aids took on dealing with the trauma for their medical aid patients. And then I sort of needed to go into opening a new field for myself.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. What is this family constellations, and can you tell us a little bit more about it? I know a little bit more because of your newsletters, but if you could just tell the audience a little bit more about what it entails.
Yeah, so when I start introducing it, it becomes quite overwhelming. So I can only say it is an experience that is unique, but it's worked on the principles of you are a product of your father's family system and your mother's family system. And the reason why I went into that is it made logical sense to me that we carry our parents' DNA. We cannot take out our blood and change who we are. That is a fact. So what I learned is that we do not only carry the physical attributes, we also carry the mental, emotional attributes. And what it meant for me is that Bible verse that says the sins of the fathers are carried forward for X generations. What I make of it is the pain, the traumas that are in the family systems are carried forward. Now, the thing is, it feels like, oh, I am this, I carry this heavy burden. Yes, and we carry it out of service to the family system. So it is a burden that wants to be healed. And so if we heal what we call a burden or a pain point or whatever we want to call it, it is healed in the family system from where it started, but it also cuts it for the generation forwards. So whatever I heal, so it's not about healing the system. It is about my healing journey, and whatever I heal for me eases the pain forward for the future family. It does not mean they pick up new burdens. It does not mean they have no burdens. It just means that I do my part in healing my journey.
Yes. And then you don't carry that burden forward into future generations. It basically, is it nearly like the buck stops here? If I
so
don't
I'll give you
a
personal experience. So I am an illegitimate child. I met my father when I was 53. He was 86. And when I was introduced to my siblings, I grew up an only child, and then I now come into a family where I have 5 siblings. And one of the information that came up for me was a certain sentence, and it was a little bit of a sentence of coming from poverty and doing things, the poverty line. And I recently visited my youngest daughter in the UK, and one of her sentences to me was, "Mom, you need to not save XYZ. I don't buy this poverty stuff." Why is that? I don't know. It's a coincidence that's very interesting.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing that once again. It's not always a very easy story to share, especially when it's so personal. So thank you so much for sharing. It's very interesting that by the sounds of it, you knew that you were basically going to end up in this field. Now, I just get that sense from you. It's you may not have known it
Subconsciously,
consciously,
we
but
know where we are drawn to. Yes,
yes,
yes.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel that this is really a very good field for you to be in, not only for personal healing, but to also help others outside your own personal circle.
So what you're saying, Una, is really, really key, because when I started studying traumatology, I did not realize that I had a lot of trauma. I was fine. My life was really good. I did not have any trauma in my life. And when I started studying traumatology, I realized, oh my word, this is, I now first have to heal me. And so it's not about coming into the field to heal others or to help others heal. The first healing had to start with me. And so when I speak about painful situations, I have beautiful that follow them, because through the pain is the gain. And so it's about the self-growth, the self-acceptance, the self-healing. And when you're there, it is about, then you can step and say to others, so what is your healing path? So what do you want to heal? I will just support and assist you, but your healing path is your healing path.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. I agree with you. But quickly coming back to your own practice and what you do in your practice, what different techniques do you use with your clients?
Okay, so obviously I started with the trauma healing, and I have, since I studied the trauma, I now do all my trauma healing through a systemic pathway. So I use the systemic work to do the trauma healing, and it works so beautifully because it works on a 3-dimensional way. The client feels it, sees it, experiences it, and because there is a support, it's really a magnificent way of healing trauma, although I use different trauma techniques if and when I need to use them. And then I am an NLP master coach, so I use a lot of NLP techniques. Plus, I don't know, whatever I've got a stress management technique that is that I show people. So I also work in finding ways for the body to acknowledge and see what works for it, because yes, whatever we understand cognitively is okay, but if the body doesn't get the message, then the healing is only halfway. I find that when the body gets the message, it's done.
Yes, yeah. I believe in the whole holistic approach, body,
Yes.
mind, spirit.
Exactly. But
And
the body is the holder of the past. The body is the subconscious, and the body only can experience what it knows. So if it only knows pain, it relates well to pain. So the key is to also introduce to the body its wholeness, because it remembered it at some time, but it is so it has to protect itself from all the pain that it sort of loses that memory. So it's a case of reintroducing that memory into the body.
okay. No, absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, some of these techniques aren't always meant for young children. Do you only work with young adults and teenagers and older adults?
I prefer to be work with adults and mature adults. In the case of, if there has been a trauma, and if I call it crime-related trauma, I do work with children. Also, when the parents are separated, I work with young children. But then it's a once-off session. I don't really do long-term work with children. That's not really my speciality. But I do a systemic session with a child, because children are so receptive and they get it. And it's one session and they're happy. The key there is for me just to empower the child to take back its own power. But I don't do coaching for young children or young adults. That's not my specialty.
So there, with young children, you basically just, your role is in a guidance way.
Only as a trauma release.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Now, your background, what did you study? Everything sounds extremely fascinating that you do, and I want to find out, what did you study and where did you study, for in case somebody else wants to follow in your footsteps?
I studied with Open University. At the time that I studied, they did have a faculty here in South Africa, and I studied through them, and I got my degree from Open University. And at that time, I thought it was a good idea for the simple reason that I wanted to be internationally qualified. So, yeah, so maybe it stands me in good stead now. If I go to the UK, they acknowledge my qualification there. And then the family constellations I studied with a group of facilitators, mostly psychologists that came out from Germany to give this information to us. But I was introduced to it by John Payne, who was at that time a trainer in South Africa. He actually introduced me to the work.
Okay. And I know that you're very experienced with everything that you do. How many years have you been working in this field, more or less?
So I've been working plus 20 years in this field. I am affiliated with SCASA, which is Systemic Constellation of Southern Africa. And so I also train the work now. So I'm affiliated with them. So the reason why I like to belong to a body like SCASA is that we want to have a code of ethics and that we want to work with a professional way forward. SCASA was set up by a group of psychologists. So they wanted to really keep that professionalism. There's other people who do training of systemic work, but we just wanted to keep it as a professional body. So the training takes its time. And I always feel that we're working with people's emotions, we're working with people's lives. And I always say to my trainers, use these 2 years for your own personal growth. And then they always say, wow, Sonja, we never thought we could learn so much by doing our own work. So that is really the way I follow the training there. And then the Master Life coaching I did through Transformation Master Life Coaching.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, when you did your practice, or when you started your practice, what challenges did you experience? And I know
my main challenge is that I call myself actually a cave girl. I am not somebody who is very social, out there, likes to ring the big bell. I am somebody who is very introverted, and I actually sort of found that a really, really big challenge to actually, speak my mind, if it were. I know my work, and so in the beginning, I really worked by word of mouth. I worked with somebody in somebody else's practice at that time, but it was literally word of mouth. That's how I worked for many, many years. And then COVID changed it all, because everything changed with COVID. Everybody was now in their own homes and in their own caves. And so it was like, wow, Sonja, what do you do now? And then it is a case of, you need to show your face and you need to tell your story. And it's like, oh, no, not me. So my biggest challenge is actually to sit here today and speak to you. That is a massive, massive challenge, because that is not who I am internally. So I had to bring myself out there. And you spoke to me earlier and said, you're reading my newsletter. Well, writing is my massive challenge. For me to put 2 words on a piece of paper is, no. Then people will see what I think. Then people will. And so for me, that challenge of actually coming out has been my biggest and most massive challenge. Yes.
And talking about your newsletter, I just want to tell everybody that the two of us connected on LinkedIn, and we didn't know each other at all before LinkedIn. And you invited me to a demonstration workshop one day, and that was the first time that we actually got to meet one another. And but LinkedIn is so powerful, actually, to connect with people that's in the same brainwave as you are, if I could say it that way, or who has the same understanding and have the same more or less goals. And if it wasn't for LinkedIn being such a powerful tool, we wouldn't have spoken today. You have actually started, and I see that you are on newsletter number 18, which is absolutely wonderful. The newsletter is called Inspirational Insights into Conscious Flow. I absolutely love that. I love because I think that's the same line for all your newsletters. It's just the issue that changes. But I've read through your newsletters, and it comes across very personal. And I can see that it touches you very deeply and that you're very passionate about what you do. And I've learned so much by reading through your newsletters, and I would really like to recommend to anybody out there that please go to Sonja's LinkedIn, link with her, and go and subscribe to her newsletters. It is really worth it. Everybody can learn from what you say, and I know it's a challenge for you, but for us as readers, it is, I'm gobbling up all this information that you are sharing, and it might not feel that to you, but to us as readers, it really feels that you're putting so much passion and knowledge into what you do. And for that, I would like to just say thank you.
Thank you for the compliment. So the name actually is Family Constellations, or Systemic Constellations, is bringing your life that is stuck back into flow. And you get that through conscious insight. Yes. So that's how the name of the newsletter actually came about. It is about the conscious insights we get in the work.
Okay, well, wonderful. Thank you so much for bringing that out there and putting that into the world. I really appreciate that. One thing that I just want to ask you quickly, what were some of the lessons that you learned while you were setting up your practice, and what are the lessons that you're still learning? If you can share some of those with us.
The challenges are ongoing. There's never a time that you reach this, I'm now there. Because the world is constantly changing. We're constantly having new challenges. So as I spoke about, when we went into COVID, I couldn't do my training, I could do nothing. So I had to learn how to use the technology. So I actually managed to do my training, video all my training, and now my training is online, something I would have never done if it hadn't been for the challenges. So the key is to actually look at the challenge and say, what is the challenge really bringing out in me? What is this challenge pushing me to do that I can do differently? And so even, you know, when I started the newsletter and not being able to write, now my challenge is, I've got to find writing material every week. And for me, that's a massive challenge, is my, and so I now start to feel the growth, and I really appreciate that other people are coming back to me and saying, Sonja, I really loved what you said there, or I really loved what you said there. So it is about sharing what I have. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we on this earth to do, is to be part of the global consciousness in a positive way?
Absolutely.
And so it's not about just building a business. I never saw myself as a business. I never saw that what I do is a business. So for me, my biggest challenge is to actually put my business hat on, because this is me. Yes. And I am the business. Yeah. And what you see is what you get. I'm not somebody in the business and then somebody else somewhere else. So I am always the same. Yes, I need to start learning how to actually think like a business. I have to have my books in order. I have to have a bookkeeper. I have to have somebody who can do my websites. I have no clue on how to put the website together. So I need people to help me. And it is finding the people to help you, which is a massive, obvious challenge in itself. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. I also found that through COVID, a lot of challenges came up. And it's, when you're in this situation, it's very difficult to see a solution. But sometimes it's just better to just take a step back, go and do something that relaxes you and you enjoy, and then the solution will come to you and it'll flow through you.
So I'm going to challenge you on that. When you are in a crisis, you cannot walk away. So what can you do when you are in a crisis and everything going mad?
You have to center yourself and you have to ground yourself first. You have to control or take control of yourself first before you can control anything around you. Or
how do you do that?
You cannot control anything around you. You can only control yourself.
And when you realize you cannot control anything around you in that state of helplessness, the first thing I always say to my clients is take a breath and ask yourself the question, what can I do now?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And in that moment of what I can do now, you gain control.
Yes. No, I completely agree with you. And I think there's one thing, and that was in this document that you sent through to me. And if you won't mind, I would like to add this document to the description that I have here, or otherwise people can contact you and you can send it through to them. I'm at the center of all my experiences. You're talking here, you are talking about how you actually overcome your fears. And just randomly putting something out there is, I heard a quote and it's resonating so strongly with me that I'm sharing it far and wide. And it actually says, let your fears make you fierce. And doesn't that just talk so strongly to you as well?
Well, the thing is, the fear becomes your stepping stone to regain your own power. Yes. And so that is really is we tend to want to run away from our fears and we tend to have a resistance to it. But the moment we actually address them and step into them or just face them and see them for what they are, then they sort of dissipate. Yeah. And that is the way you actually dissipate your fears, by stepping into your fears and taking your control back. Yes.
Yeah, what you actually said here, the more we walk through our fears, the stronger our courage becomes. And I love that.
See? Well, it takes courage to face your fears.
No, absolutely. Tell me about it. In any case, just moving forward. Now, I know that you were talking about you offering training yourself in Healing Point Constellations. Is this for new coaches or anybody that wants to become a part of the Constellation family? Or who's your target market when it comes to this type of training?
Yeah, as I said, SCASA was set up by psychologists. And when I approached SCASA to do the training for the systemic work, it was a case of, I want to do it in a professional way. So yes, I am targeting coaches because it's a really, really good tool for them to use within their coaching practice. But I also have other professionals that do the coaching with me. I've had a training with me. I've had a physio that has done training with me. I've had people from other coaching fields, from other professional fields. So it is something that you can add on as a add-on tool for your clients. So the physio, for instance, she's never going to do the work herself, but she says how it's changed the way she treats her clients. It's given her a new set of questions to ask her clients, and she gets to the core of the pain a lot easier, because by asking the right questions, she gets a different answer.
Okay. That makes very much sense. Now, where can the people get hold of you to take this training?
It is on my website, healingpointconstellations.com. And there is I'm offering a new training, an in-person training starting in September. So for people who want to do in-person training, the other training is online. So it's on my website, healingpointconstellations.com.
Okay.
Under courses, or the in-person training is advertised separately.
Okay, and I see that you're starting that in-person training. You're planning on starting that in September.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, Sonja, I am going to put everything in the description so that everybody can get hold of you. Is there a little piece of one of your gem nuggets that you want to share with everybody before we say goodbye?
Yes, because the current challenge is the economy is changing, and we're all looking at what are the fears that are facing us now with a changing economy. And the key is to be the creator of your new life in this moment that we are now. And we, the coaches, are actually launching the August Abundance Month. So if anybody wants to join us on that, I might want to send you some more information on that. But what our thinking is there is to be the coach you want to be and step into the creation of your vision that you started your coaching practice with.
Okay. Yeah, I think just stick to your guns and keep your, I love a vision board because it keeps me on track. And there's so many distractions always going on around us that we lose that focus on our main goal. And what you just said is keep your vision and working towards it with the passion that you had when you actually opened the book or started your studies for the very first time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Una, thank you for this opportunity. And if you need any more links, I'm happy to send them to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please go ahead, send it to me. I'll put them all in the description, and I'm sure that a lot of people will reach out to you and get in touch with you with regards to your training, but also on the services that you offer. I think the world needs more people like you, and thank you for being there.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Wishing you a fabulous day.
Thank you so much, Sonja. And that was Sonja Simak. And please go and click on her links. Go and have a look at the training that she's offering. It is really worth it. I think that everybody should always be open to new ideas and to new theories and techniques. And if you can learn anything, it is to open your heart and to be there for other people and help them through their journeys, even though you might be struggling with your own journey. It is always good to help somebody else. Okay, before I go, as I said, I will put all Sonja's details below. But remember to get your copy of Your Journey Begins Now, Start and Market Your Own Successful Counseling or Coaching Private Practice in South Africa. The book is available on Takealot as well as Amazon. Once again, I will put the links in for you. So I can't wait to speak to you again soon. Remember to reach out to me if you want to be part of this project and to share your knowledge and your ideas with other coaches and counselors. but also to give yourself exposure. Remember, it's not going to cost you anything except for sharing a little bit of information and putting yourself out there, and yeah, maybe doing something that could be a little bit uncomfortable by sharing with other people. In any case, I'll speak to you soon, and I'm working on a new project of sending, which I'll be getting in contact with you soon. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to put a whole lot of websites and references together that you can use that'll make your life as a coach and a counselor much more easier. Speak to you soon. Bye.